in tech, you're starting afresh. You're creating that framework. You're creating how to do it. In real estate, there's billions, millions of people that have done it before you that you can learn from.
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and the wisdom of how they sold their first million.
Yeah, and I think that I remember when in our company also when we went to Spain, it was I have like a little mess, and all what I was thinking, I'm thinking, Harry, if you span this, what you're gonna span is a big mess. Let's start to do the CRM. So I agree 100% with you to put some structure in place before you expand, because otherwise, if you have a little
Yeah.
mess and you expand, what you're gonna expand is a big
Yeah.
mess. Yeah. Okay. So what would be
Yep.
number 4, Luis?
Number four is going to be learning the valuable for us, right? This is anybody who really is looking to scale. If you just want to be a one-man team, this may not apply to you. But learning how to raise capital, that's huge. Learning how to actually get people tied into your vision, where they want to be an equity partner or they want to come be if they're going to give you debt, whatever it means. Because what it happened to me early on in my e-commerce company, is we actually got a lot of credit cards. We got tons of loans, like just from traditional banks, but that stuff's really, really expensive. And at the end of the day, the banks, they don't care if you're succeeding. They really just want to make sure they get their money back. So, but when you have like, let's say an investor, so like for us, for Arbet Capital Partners and Arbet Capital Group, we raise, let's say right now we have a $50 million raise that we're putting together to build real estate in San Diego, California. So when that money comes in from an investor, they are sold on the vision. They say, "Oh, wow, I like what you guys are doing as an operator. We really like the direction you're going in. We feel like there's validation." And then that money comes in a way that is very inexpensive. It's not expensive on the front. And it's all based off of you producing the promise that you gave them on the back end. So when you're structuring a company is finding really getting really comfortable talking about the money piece, because the money piece makes sure that your vision is really, really aligned with the direction that you're really trying to go to.
Yeah.
So being able to raise capital, raising money.
And number 5?
And number five, never being settled. So never being okay with where you're at. That's really big. And I think that's really for us where we've really continued to push the thread with, I mean, honestly, all of our different companies that we've had. You know, I remember I had one company and then I said, I'm going to start another one. And they said, no, I mean, how can you have two in one? And then I was like, well, I mean, I know there's people out there in the world that have multiple. I know Elon Musk has multiple companies. And I mean, I'm not saying I'm like Elon Musk, but what I'm saying is, él es humano, right? He's a human just like me, just like you, just like every person listening. We're all human. So I know that it's possible. So just being okay taking those risks, right? Investing in yourself before you invest in anything else. And when you take a shot on yourself, you have to remember like the only person uh, who is in charge of your success in that moment, well, I'd say God. God plays a big role in it, but outside of God, it's you, right? Like if you win or fail, it's based off of did you invest in yourself, right? Did you take the chances to expand your company? So never being okay with where you're at and just continue to grow, and that's how you really become a small little startup or a solopreneur and take it to a medium to a large size company. It's really just not being okay. Look at Steve Jobs, great example, right? He created something he wasn't okay with where it was. So he continued to grow more, 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 more. You'll see the same story. And actually, all those pieces, those five pieces that I just spoke about, every billionaire in the world would probably say some of the same things. because at the end of the day, they continue to grow and they continue to expand. But in order to expand, you need capital. In order to get capital, you need to have systems. In order to have good systems, you need to have good people that can implement those systems. And once you have those good people, that only works if you're being yourself. So if you go all the way back up, 5 keys.
Property and tech, the most powerful vehicles out there in order to become a millionaire. Louis, I see that you guys, you have done, you have projects with real estate, raising capital for real estate, as you described, and
Mhm.
you also grew an e-commerce business, which is kind of tech, right? So
It is, yeah.
I'm rooting for you in both verticals. So 1 out of 5, we're like I said, we interview with 500 millionaires in this broadcast, and 1 out of 5 either is from property or from tech. So why do you
Mhm.
think that property and tech are the most powerful vehicles in order to create
Mhm.
wealth as we speak today? But also tell
Mhm.
us the good, the bad, and the ugly, because you
Mhm.
are in the raising finance space at the moment, and you know that, by the way, the good people that are in this space, they have to be good entrepreneurs first. So tell us, why
Mhm.
do you choose these two vehicles, and is it really true that if you use property and tech as a vehicle, you can become wealthy really easy compared with other vehicles as well? I mean, the statistic in this podcast is actually, if you listen through all the episode, 1 out of 5 are
Mhm.
tech, 1 out of 5 is property. I don't know if I like tech or property and everybody show up out of the sky. Maybe the energy that I have, or probably is
Yeah.
more statistic vehicle. So, what is your opinion on that?
Yeah. So great question. And I'd say that realistically, we're seeing them as two different vehicles. But if you look at the heart of what they both do, is they both do data, right? In real estate, you have metrics, data, right? You're able to look at, I'll give you a quick example. If I have a piece of property, let's say that I'm just going to do a fix and flip, which is actually how we started. We started very simple, very humble. We had a little house, we renovated it, took everything out, me and my brother, ripped everything, oh, more my brother than me, ripped everything out, and we renovated, and then my cousin oversaw the projects. But let's say, for example, what you're doing is you're going to check out the market, right? You're going to see if I buy this, how much can I sell it for? And you test that based off of other products, assets that have sold similar to that, right? And then, okay, well, if I buy it and I make it better, how much value can I add in order to make a spread, which is going to be my margin, right? And then from then on, it's who's your consumer? Who's your competitors? So the framework for both of these verticals is actually very similar. And I would have never understood that unless I was in both. I would have thought that they were somewhat different. So in e-commerce, let's say that you sell on Amazon, right? Same concept. You have a product. Let's say you want to launch a product. Okay, well, how much will it go for, right? If you add additional features to it, let's say that I have a cup and then I add a handle, now it's a mug. Does that add more value, right? Okay, let's say I put it into a Yeti cup now, and then that Yeti cup can stay cold longer. Now it has more value, right? It's a cup that stays colder longer. So you added value, and now it's how much is it worth to that consumer now? What's the price point that it's worth? And then who is your general public for that, right? So if I have $1 million house, I'm probably not going to market to somebody who can only afford a $500,000 house. And then the next step is who are my competitors, right? So on Amazon, if you type in awesome, coolest purple jacket ever, and your jacket came on there, right? Well, there's going to be like 10, 20, 30, 40 other pages that also have purple jackets. Those are competitors. The same way that if I typed in 2 bedroom, 3 bath house in San Diego, a bunch of other people are going to come up with the same product. So it's very similar. So realistically, at the end of the day, they just cater to slightly different types of personalities, I would say. Tech is normally very creative, really, really creative, right? You have to be a visionary. You're creating something that normally does not exist. In the real estate sector, it's a little bit different. Even though you are creative and you are creating something that doesn't exist right now, there is a framework on how to do it. In tech, you're starting afresh. You're creating that framework. You're creating how to do it. In real estate, there's billions, millions of people that have done it before you that you can learn from. Those are just the two differences, but they both have the same heart, which is data-driven analytics.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.